Hello, this is Blade Man Unit Pie, and I'm gonna do a toy review. But this one's gonna probably be a little long. I'm actually trying to review the Ladybug action doll. That's so silly. But anyway, first of all, this thing is ridiculously jointed. Like you got like ball joint here, double knee joint, ankle joint, swivel, I guess. I don't know. But, she's really well jointed. And her head's kind of like just on a ball. So it's a ball joint in her head. The only thing she's missing, and like this joint really doesn't move, it's just kind of there. I think it was more for creation. But other than her torso being fixed, this figure is almost a drawing mannequin jointedness. The negatives I have on it, which are surprisingly few. I mean, they're like it's $10, so they're barely anything. Her hands are tiny, a little too tiny for it to even be part of the character model. And they also feel really brittle. So like I'm kind of worried that her fingers are gonna bust off because that's how weak the plastic feels. And if it was just a little bit bigger, and I'm like, little bit bigger. It's funny, they have like her maker marks on her tush here. But other than that, this figure is spot on. Bandai does amazing work. And this is $10 or so. It's assuming it's out there. But it's a really good figure. I'm very surprised. They call it an action doll, which is an action figure. And it's probably one of the best female action figures that isn't $20. Because, like, this one is straight up $20 or more, and it's probably one of the best female action figures. And one of the biggest problems, and that's why I have all these other figures out here, is a lot of the female action figures have some weird joining issues at the hip. And, like, I can kind of forgive this one because it's an indie thing, and, they just got their character out there. But like what? What's going on here? That's like her legs are completely frozen and she can't. This is how you move her leg up. It's like, what is she going to be put into? It's weird. And the same thing here with this figure. I can't remember her name. She's Cable's sister, but she has the same problem. It's like, wait. So how do you get her to sit down? Like she sit down at a console. Like what? She straddles it. I mean, like what the hell? Yeah, and I don't know how many. I always enjoyed getting female figures, but again, I wanted them, but I always hated this. My dad remembers me complaining about it as a kid, going, "Why didn't they just, give her the same kind of hip joint they give the male characters? What the heck? This is stupid." Yeah, it is pretty stupid. I mean, with her, she's Wasp from that TV show. I lost the wings, broke off. Yeah, I was a kid then, so but that's the thing. She got knee joint, ankle joints. If they would have just given her like something like a ball joint, maybe, or they wanted to keep it where it's just still the 45-degree angle, swivel. They don't need to do it at the 45-degree angle. This is stupid. Like, why? Like, you kind of have her, be like this or something. But yeah, you can't pose these figures at all. You can barely play with them except for them standing up. And that's a common thing with action figures of women. That's one of the reasons why I was so excited. I'm so impressed with the Ladybug here. Because look, if they took away a few of the joints, it wouldn't be too bad. But to be quite honest, the play value is all there. I mean, a kid can get this and play with it. I'm kind of annoyed that it's only marketed towards girls. I'm like, you realize, she's still a pretty cool character. I hope they do like a version of the grown-up Marionette. That would be really cool. Grown-up Ladybug. That would be really cool if they did that, because that design's pretty neat. And yeah, I'm just kind of like blown away. This is a really good figure. and it's the cheapest one that you can get your hands on. And I remember this one. This is one I was very excited about. This was the Generation X Jubilee action figure, and I really love this one. It's well worn. She's actually come apart, but the biggest thing is she has just these joints, same joints as any as the male characters. Yeah, and you can see it's starting to come apart, so I have to push her back together here. But yeah, yeah, she had joint, but I love this because it had pretty good play value. Yeah, she could only really stand up, but she didn't have that awkward. Yeah, she's straddling everything, but she's in a battle pose, so it was kind of cool. I just kind of wondered why that happened, because here $20 figure. Here's another $20 figure that they finally got pretty much right for female, except this one's a little bit va-va-voom. Yeah, really, it's like, alright, fine, you're shoving that in her face, whatever. To me, it's kind of annoying, but really, what is up with this? Now, I'm not sure I'll do more reviews, but that's really what this was about, is I wanted to talk about, this figure. I mean, it's nice that there's finally one, but why on earth is this such a rarity? I mean, she can actually, and this is the thing that I always thought was kind of silly. It was next to impossible to get a character who could, I'm going to have to show this on the side, but naturally sit down. That was female. The male characters could do it for ages. I could show you many of them that could. But female characters that could just sit down? That's weird. So, and I know people have been bringing this up, like why there's no Steven Universe action figures. And yeah, there's no Steven Universe action figures. And we finally get a cheap, I say cheap, I mean like one that isn't like, it's kind of an average price figure. And to me this would have been a $5 figure, I think, when I was a kid. Because that was about the price range for action figures. It was $5 and you got it. But why? Why was it that it took so long for something even half, anything this good to happen? Why was this one of the best female action figures I got when I was a kid? I mean, seriously. Why? It's, look how goofy she looks. She's like kind of in a gorilla stance. But it was something I really was excited because it wasn't that weird, awkward 45-degree angle joint at the crotch. It's like, well, why would you even put that on there? It's not much use. So I just thought I'd bring this all up and talk about the whole situation. I mean, the figure is well sculpted. I mean, it looks like the model, and there's a lot of cues. I think there's a few spots missing on the inner thigh or something. But unless you were like really watching it, you won't notice. There's no texturing on the mold, which, okay. Which, how would they even do that properly? You'd have to kind of figure it out. Not really a big deal at all, so I wouldn't worry about it. But they could have added some texturing, maybe. But then again, this is a cheap thing. It's not that important. That texturing wouldn't be that important. It's not going to... wouldn't add anything. It may just make it wear weird or something. And maybe make it harder to work with. So, I'm okay with this. Like, I really like it. I'm surprised. I kind of want to get more... I want them to do more of these because they're really well done. Bandai did an amazing job, but why is it we're not getting a proper... why is this like one of the few good examples of a cheaper but well-made female action figure? Because I have the Power Rangers, usually over sexualize them for some reason, but yeah. So I just kind of rambled on, but I just wanted to say, hey, this is kind of weird, but this is cool. So I think there's no problem getting this. I do hope they make a adult Ladybug figure, and I say adult as in age, not like, you know, X-rated. I don't really want to see that. That'd be just too awkward, despite what the fan artists seem to want to do. But yeah, I'm actually impressed, and I've been meaning to do this video, and I wanted to talk about the biggest problem and like why there's a problem. Why don't we have like Steven Universe figures either? Like you got this one, and this is pretty cool, but Steven Universe should have a toy line by now that's like this. You know, maybe a little less jointed or something, because, you know, this thing's like Cadillac. But yeah, I'm just, you know, wondering why is this such a rare thing? Why is this such a big deal when you really think about it? Like, oh my god, this is a unique and interesting. When this should have been happening since I was a kid. Something like this. Something this, you know, respectful on the character design. And that's just something I'm like, why not? Why do we have to wait? Again, sorry for the quality of the video. I'm having trouble getting the camera to focus and stuff. Maybe I should have turned on my light, but it seemed like everything was getting washed out. So anyway, this is Blade Man Unit Pi, and if you can find this figure, pick it up, and, you know, spot on for the design. It's amazing. I only have a handful of gripes, and I'm just worried I'm going to break her hand at some point because it feels really flimsy. But other than that, I love the figure, and I do wish they did something other than like this plastic. But again, these are all small things. Like the play value is extremely high. Anyway, this is Blade Man Unit Pi. Peace, love, and peanut butter.